Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing There Are Some Shifty Lines. Now, I don't think necessarily from the title you can tell that this is all about shifter dots or region sum lines, but that's kind of the play on words that gUBBLOR has done in here. You know, region sum lines, some shifty, you get it. And to try and, I guess, represent that title, you got Sleuth here, I guess managed to sneak into some kind of underground casino or betting arena. And there's some very shifty looking characters placing bets around whatever that table is. Crabs? Not sure. And I can see a bunch of bare looking legs in there. This is a PG channel, we're not going to discuss this any further. Let's take a look at today's puzzle instead and rule sets. So, couple of things I'll say from the get-go. One is, I'm still not 100%, so as always, getting my excuses at the ready. Second, this is a 3-star difficulty rated puzzle, so it's not exactly easy solve any day of the week, especially when you're a little bit under the weather. But my excuses lined up aside, let's take a look at the rules. We've got normal Sudoku rules, so that means place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, column, and 3x3 box. We know that one. Then we have the shifter dots. So each of these essentially yellow dots, digits on different sides of a shifter dot must always share either a parity, as an even/odd, or polarity, high/low. Never neither, never both, and shifter dots can never have a 5 on it. So that's a long way of saying, if this shifter dot, for example, is 1 or 3, so that's low and odd. The next one, either I am shifting parity, so it would be 2 or 4, or I am shifting polarity, so it'll be 7 or 9. What I cannot do is shift both. That wouldn't work. So let's say I go for 2, 4. So essentially low odd, low even. Now I can go high even with 6, 8, or I can go high even with 6, 8, or of course I can go back to 1, 3. What I can never do is have a 5 on here because 5 never belong on the shifter dots. Next we have Kropki dots. So a black dot between cells indicates cell values with a 2 to 1 ratio. So that cell here is a 2. This would have to be 1 or 4, so that one of these cells is double the other. And not all dots are shown. So if this cell here was a 2 and this cell here was a 4, they are clearly in a 2 to 1 ratio. The absence of a black dot does not cause us any problems. Last but not least, we have the region sum lines. So digits along the region sum lines, these are the blue lines in here, have the same sum within each box the line passes through. So for example, if these cells are 2 and 4, they sum up to 6. That would mean this fraction of the line would have to sum up to 6, but it's only one cell. This up here would have to be 1, 5, because you need another two cells to add up to 6. So it'd have to be 1, 5, given it's not 2, 4. And these 3 cells in here would have to be 1, 2, 3 to add up to 6 again. The key in here is that we're adding up to 6 based on that consistent sum across each of the different regions. Regions in this case being the box borders. So, if you want to join Sleuth in this underground casino, sort out some shifty lines, link will be in the description down below for you to do so. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock, see how I get on. So I'm fairly sure I'm going to need this. So I'm going to first show you something that is very helpful for these types of puzzles. If you haven't seen this before, or if you have seen this before, just skip forward like a minute or two. In essence, you know, these are the different groups of same parity, same polarity numbers. So 1 and 3 are both low and odd, low and even, high and odd. And the way to think about shifter dots is essentially you can only ever go clockwise or anti-clockwise around this circle. So a 1, 3 can shift towards 2, 4, or it can shift towards 7, 9, I can never do a diagonal because that would be shifting both polarity and parity. So in a very bizarre way, if you end up using some kind of coloring like this, essentially the shifter dots end up shifting the color every time you move along. So, you know, if this was red, this would be blue, then it would be back to red, and that would actually satisfy the shifter dots. Now I'm looking at this entire puzzle, and frankly, not a lot to go on except this region sum line. And I like this region sum line because there's a bit of pressure from the shifter dots in here, as well as a bit of pressure from the fact that this is a single digit. So first things, it's 3 digits in this box that sum up to a value. Now we know that this value is, whatever the sum is for this region sum line, it is a single digit. So it's from 6, 7, 8, or 9. And I know it's at least a 6 because the minimum of 1, 2, 3 would get me as far as 6. So far, so good. The other thing that I'm also, you know, I use a fictitious example with 2, 4 in here to get to 6. That doesn't work, nor does 1, 5 work. Both don't work because remember, we're still on a shifter dot as well in here. So there's no way for me to get to 6. 6 is off the table. Now, what I need to concoct is essentially a bunch of digits in here where, you know, they're both red and a blue in the middle, or they're both blue and a red in the middle, that add up to a value that I can reproduce in here that can be 1 of 7, 8, or 9. So we're going to try a few different ones to see how we get on. I think in general, I can dismiss 7 and 9 from this side. If I use 7 or 9, even if I use 1 and 2, forget shifted dots for a second, it is way too big. It's going to break. So 7 and 9 do not work. 8 definitely does not work for the same challenge. 8 with a 1 and 2 adds up to 11. That's not an option. 6 with a 1 and 2 might. So 6 in here, 1 in there, 2 in there is actually pretty good. And that would add up to 9. So I'm just going to keep a note of possible digits that work. 1, 2, 6 with a 9, that would work. And then I guess to get to a 9 across the shifter dots, well, 4, 5 is out. 3, 6 is out because it's in the same color, and that doesn't work. 2, 7 is out, and 1, 8 is out. So I guess 9 in general is out. We can't sum up to 9. That doesn't work. I can't get 2 cells across shifter dots. Let me just plug them all in again so you can kind of see it. You know, 2 cells that add up to 9. 1, 8 are in the same color. 2, 7 are in the same color. 3, 6 are in the same color. And 4, more importantly, the 5 can't go on a shifter dot. So 9 can never be the sum. So we need 3 cells now that add up to 7 or 8. And that means 6 is off the table, 8 is off the table, 7 and 9 are off the table, at least for this section of it. Now, 9 is gone. 7 in 3 cells can only be done in one way, which is 1, 2, 4. So 1, 2, 4 with a 7, I think looks pretty good. And then I would need 2 cells in here to add up to 7. 1, 6 wouldn't work. 3, 4 would, and obviously 2, 5 wouldn't. So 3, 4 with kind of 1, 2, 1, 2, 4 looks pretty good. If it is an 8, well, we know one of them has to be a 1. So I'm going to remove this, but, you know, this is like a solid option with 7. If it is an 8 instead, how would I do that? And actually, let's just think about this one. So 3, 5 is out. 2, 6 would work. And 1, 7 would work. So at least 8 for the 2 cell section would work. 8 for the 3 cell section, so we know we'd have to have a 1. It's a question of whether the 1 is in the middle with 2 surrounding cells. So the options are 2, 5, and 3, 4. 5 is not working on shifted dots, so it would have to be 3, 4. 1 and 3 are the same color, so it'd have to be 1 and 3, 1 and 3 with a 4. And this 2 cells, fact, I think that actually does work. Doesn't it? Yeah, it does. So it's 7 and 8 both work. I'm not happy about that. Let me show you the rest of what 8 looks like. So essentially 1, 3, and 4 in the middle. This would have to add up to 8, and 3, 5 have already dismissed. 1, 7 would work, and 2, 6 would work. And it doesn't really interfere materially with this 1, 3. And then up here, I can actually pick up something that really doesn't disrupt this at all. So 3, 5 would be fine. That would be a 1. That wouldn't be 1, 7. And here is an example of how 8 could look. Not great. Maybe the 7 breaks if I go all the way as far as I did. Let's try that. So we said this is 1, 2, 4. We said this would have to be 3, 4, so no 4 in here. This would have to be from 1, 6 or 2, 5. Essentially would create a 1, 2 pair. Depending on whether this is 1 or 2, I mean, I've essentially covered all of the low digits with 1 and 2, 3 and 4. So this would have to jump to a high digit. And it could be 6, 7, well, again, not necessarily a 6 if it's 1, 6, but 6, 7, 8, or 9. So yeah, that also works. I was really hoping that only 1 would work. So maybe, I don't know if I'm starting with the wrong end. So if it's 1, 2, 4, the alternative was 1, 3, 4. Let me just wipe these, actually keep them, because that's kind of one option for 7. The alternative here, if it's 1, 3, 4, and then to get to 8, we said it would have to be 2, 6, or 1, 7. Yeah, this is way too many. And then, you know, I could do 1, 7, 2, 6, and 3, 5 in here. Not great. Not great at all. I'm noticing something else. Essentially, what cells have I not, what numbers have I not put in this column now? Essentially, 5, 8, and 9 I've not placed at all. Do I need to be thinking about this black Kropki dot and the region sum for that? Let's have a think about this for a second. So 1, 2, 2, 4, 3, 6, and going beyond that doesn't matter. So this one is already limited. It can only be 3, 6, or 9. Basically the sums of black Kropki dots that could go in here. Now, is this forced? Does this have to be a 9? Because the 3s and 6s keep appearing in a lot of these options, don't they? Let's just, for the sake of argument, try a 3. That wouldn't be 3 then. No 3 in here, meaning, does that actually, it breaks immediately the 7, because it would have to, it needed to have been 3, 4. So that would end up being an 8 with 1, 2, 6, 7. And essentially, I would have used the 1 and 2 as a pair between these, and 3 and 5 wouldn't be available because of the 3. So, short answer is yes, that is never a 3. Is it ever a 6? With 2 and 4 in here? Maybe. So if I remove the 6, that was an option with the for the 8 with a 2. Let's just write that down. I don't think it was it ever an option for the 7 in here? It may have been. I mean, 6 is gone anyway. I don't know if this is 8 or 7, but let me just check. Yeah, I've got 1, 7 as an option and 3, 4 to get 7 or 8. So that's still a live and well option. And that can still be a 2. We don't use a 2 for the 8. Okay. So 3, 4, and 2. Let's just check the 7 first. 3, 4. This would require, I mean, I can go for 2, 5 surely, and then 1, 7. So yeah, 6 actually does work with a 7, and I'm guessing 6 would even work with an 8. 1, 7. I could pick 3, 5, and that would be a 2. No, 8 doesn't have a 2. 3, 5, 1, 7. That would have to be a 4. I don't know why I removed the 4 from here. But that would be the option. 1, 7, 3, 5, and 4 in here, and then a 1, 3 pair. So this is still 6 or 9. And they don't even share any digits with 2, 4, and 3, 6. So this is really not off to a good start. What I'm thinking now is counting low digits and sort of at least limiting this to a high digit. Now we can do a bit better. Minimum here is 1, 2, 3, meaning this is a minimum 6, but obviously can be an 8 as well on this black Kropki dot. Therefore, this is another 3, 4, and now I've got 4 low digits all pencil marked. This has to be a high digit. If it's a 6 with 1, 2, and 3 in here, that would work. I could have a... Would it work? Essentially, that would have to be the 1, and then this would have to be 2 and 3. That would be 3, that would be 6, that would be 1, and then 2, 3. That's fine. If it's an 8, presumably I could do 5 with 1, 2, as well as 4 in here with 1, 3. So, not great again. I'm running out of options quickly. So these 3, 4 cells are essentially 5, 6, 8, 9. I removed the options a little bit earlier. I don't recall exactly why, but I'm going to trust my pencil marks for now. That's not a 5 because it's on a black, it's on a shifter dot. So that would be 6, 8, or 9. Doesn't exactly limit. I mean, if I can remove the 9, then that would be very helpful, but I can't. Let me just see what else I'm missing. I'm just gonna kind of remind myself of what these are. So I think something to sort of maybe do, and this is definitely red, because there's only 4 reds. There's another 2 of them. I don't know which one, either these 2 or these 2 in here. There's 1 of each in column 4. Not a lot more to go beyond that, though. I wasn't thinking I'm going to struggle here. You know, I was thinking I'd at least place some digits, not none. Right, can we potentially eliminate some options in here? One thing we do know about this black Kropki dot, whether it's 3, 6 or 2, 4, is it's the same color. And therefore these 2 are going to be the opposite color. Maybe I'm going to do that for a second. Now, if it's 2, 4, they're adding up to 6, which is an opposite color to the 2, 4. If it's 3, 6, then it's red, but it's adding up to 9. So this is definitely green, whatever that is, compared to this purple. So now we've got 3 greens in here. This is tough. There must be a way to eliminate one of the options. I need to see it, and I'm not seeing it for some reason. I'm confident about 9 not working, and I'm confident about 6 not working because neither would work in here. Yeah, 1, 8, 2, 7, 3, 6, 4, 5. And 7, the only one that does work is 3, 4. 1, 6 doesn't work. 2, 5 doesn't work. Yeah, so far that logic is solid. 8, however, with 1, 7, 2, 6, it's too many options. One and 2 are on here. That's it. We have all the low digits. The 2 is on this, and if the 2 is on this, that makes it a 7. Because to get to an 8 is 1, 3, 4. Sorry it took me so long. So that is a 3, that is a 6. This is 1, 2, 3, that's 1, that's 2, 3. That's a 1, 2, 4, looking at a 3, a 2. Goodness me, this is not 6 now. Neither is this one for that matter. And now that we know it's a 7, that makes that a 3, 4. That is a 7. That 3, 4, is it doing anything? It's just removing a 4 from in here. We need 2 cells that add up to 7. 3 is gone, so it's not 7. Could it be 1, 6? Why did I remove that option? What happened with 1, 6? And 2, 5. The only thing that we know is it's not 3, 4. Okay. Where does 7 go in this column? It's not in here. It's one of these 2 cells. So the 1, 2 is eliminated with a 5 or 6. Does that help me with this at all? Does that force it to be 6 or 9? I can't tell. Not sure. I'm going to have to remove this reference, by the way, just because I think I'm going to have to sort of expand from here a bit and maybe do a bit of Sudoku to help me. This can't be a 5 anymore because that would be 2, 3 not available. 1, 4 also not available. That's not a 5. I think, ooh, the 5 is between these now. I have 7, 8, 9. The definite 7. Come on, Sleuth, we've got to be able to force this somehow. 7, 8, 9. Well, there's a 5 in here with one of 8 or 9. Let's think about this for a second. If this is 1, this would have to be 8. And this would have to be 2, 5. That would have to be 7 because there's nowhere else for it. So it'd be 8, 7, 2, 5, and then we'd end up with a 6, 9 pair, frustratingly so. If this is 2, then I do have 7, 9 in here. It's even less pressure than previously. if this is 2, it would force 1 and 6 up here. It would force a 9. And then that would be 3, 6. Yeah, not sure I can progress it yet. All the low digits in here is very interesting. What are these? You can see that this is at a minimum, 4, 5, which is also the maximum because that's 9. 1, 2, 4 are looking at this cell, that's a 5, that's a 4. These now still have to obey, although notice I've already placed 1, no. Of the reds I've only placed 2, of the blues I've only placed 2, so I actually don't know. 6, however, is definitely in here. That's about it though. I could do a 6-8 pair with a 7. In fact, that's the only thing that I can do because there is a 9 looking down here. That's the 9. That's the 6. That's the 8. That's the 7. That is not a 7. That's the only place for a 7. This is not 1, 6. This is not 2, 4. This is 2, 5. Still doesn't help me with my 8, 9. What a puzzle, gUBBLOR. I think we also have again another 4, 5 pair. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, meaning this is a minimum of 4, 5. 9, 8, 6, and 7, meaning this is a maximum of 4, 5. And if I try any other sets of digits, that's not going to work. Wow. That makes these 1, 2, 3. And I guess that makes these 6, 7, 8, 9 with a 9 definitely up here. Okay. This cell. Right, this cell has to be pretty big. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. So this is a 7 looking at it. This is 8 or 9. Now I think we've proven 2 cells on a black crop on a shifted dot cannot be 9. Because 1, 8 are the same color, 2, 7 are the same color, 3, 6 are the same color, and 4, 5 doesn't work. So this is an 8. And now we have plenty of choice once again. It's not 1, 7. It's either 2, 6, and it's not 3, 5. It's just 2, 6. That's fixed. And that's an 8. Okay. This is a 7, 9 pair. This is a digit that we can just write in. It's a 4. And this is 1, 3, 6. It's slowly giving us secrets away. It is very slow. It's 24 minutes in, and I feel like I've barely scratched the surface of this puzzle. Is this the next shifted dot to look at? I mean, box 1 just keeps calling out to me. I don't know what to do with it. Is it time to look at these region sum lines? So the fact that they add up to these 6 may be helpful. I mean, after all, we are trying to add up 2 cells, so it's not exactly helpful. This is going to break somehow between 3, 6 and 2, 4. The question is how? How can I show it? And if you guys have already seen it, I'm sure you're shouting at the screen to say, Sleuth, just pay attention, you're missing it. But I'm really not seeing it. This is a 9, 3 and 6 possible, 4, 5 not possible, 1, 8 is fine. Right, so this region sum line really doesn't feel like much. This region sum line also doesn't feel like much. I think this is where it's calling me. Some Sudoku, as is often the case, comes too late for me to actually sort of get some help out of it. What are these three cells? I really need to nail down a few more things before I scratch some of these. So I think, let me ask a question. What is wrong with 2, 4 in here? Can I think of any reason why this is a bad idea? This would end up being 1, 3, 6, 8. These two cells still need to add up to something relatively small, single digit. And 2 and 4 are gone. And this doesn't add up to 4. So it's not a 1, 3 pair in here with 6, 8s. That's fine. Well, chances are pretty high that I'll use the 1 on here to add up to something. Two, 4, 6. That would be 2, 5. That would be 1. That would be 9. And it's looking pretty good. So I can't complain. 3, 6. 2, 4, 7, 9. Not a 4. Big deal. 9. That will make this 8. That will make this 2. Should make this 1, 6. Which would make this 5. I am not seeing how this breaks. But there has to be something that allows me to make progress from here. So what is it? Let's have a think about this. So these two cells, right, let's try this differently. Let's combine these cells. There are 4 cells that cannot add up to more than 17. And I know that 1 or 2 is gone at least in here. So what does that leave me with? So I've definitely got a 3 on here. So if I go with 2, 3, 4, and 5, not the 1, that's 14. So that would be 6 and 8, for example. Maybe that is the way to think about it. It does put a lot of stress on it. Can I even put a 7 in any of these? Or an 8 for that matter? 8 with a 1 to get to a 9. And then 2 and 3 to get to, well, not even 2 and 3, 3 and 4 to get to a 7, that'll be fine. So yeah, I can even have an 8 on here, so it's not enough pressure again. I'm trying to see if I can color these as well. Let's try that. If this is 6, that would be 2, 5, and that would be 1, so it would be green. If this is 9, that would be 8, that would be 2, so it's the same color. So let's try that for a second. What does that do? And this I'm going to call red. Sleuth just not paying attention again. I've already got 3 and 6 down. I know 1 and 8 have to be in here to cover my colors. So that's the only place for the 8. Wow, Sleuth, this is not the best of souls for you at all. So now that this is a 2, this is not 2 or 5, this is a 1-6 pair. That makes that a 9. That makes that a 5. That makes that a 3-6. That makes that a 1. That makes that a 6. This is now 2, 4, 7, 9. No 8 in here. Not 9. Not 4. I mean, it is a tough puzzle, let's be fair. I don't think it's just me struggling with basics necessarily. Let's just color the shifter dots again. So you see, if this is red, that would be 6 and 8 with blue in the middle. Is that even possible? Kind of. So one option, if this is, because again, we know that this is the color setup. Purple is red. It would have to be 6 or 8. That would be 6. That would be 8. And then I would need something that is not a 4 in here. It would be 2, 7, or 9. That's fine. Now the alternative, of course, is this is the 6 or 8. And this would have to be, well, this is not 2, 4, or 9. That would have to be a 7. And this would have to be 6 or 8. And this would have to be blue. And it's not 7 or 4. It would be 2 or 9. So that would be my pencil marks in here. Which obviously doesn't include anyone's. I mean, why would it? I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, aside from just having a 1 in here. Interestingly, I definitely have a 6 in here. Do I have any other definites? No, the 4 is there, the 3 is there. The 7 could be either, so not helpful. And the 2, 6, I've basically got all I can out of it. Okay. Again, progress, just very slow progress, very slow. Four is in here. I know nothing about 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. I mean, not 9, but nothing else. That's not a 3. That 5 gives me a 4 and a 5. That places another 5 in here, which gives me a 2 and a 5. So I have another 1, 3, 6, and then I have a 9 and 4. It looked like it could be anywhere. In this row, I've got a 3, 4, a 7, 8, and a 1. This is not the 3, 4. This is 1, 7. No, it's not even 1. So it's not 1, 3, or 4. This is the second 7, 8. This can't be a 3, 4. So that's the 1. This is the 7, 8. 35 minutes. Time flies by, huh? What am I missing? Feels like I've been like really chipping away at this puzzle a lot and not getting a lot in return. Hang on. What I meant to say this is 3 or 4. Excuse me, not another 7, 8. And it can only be a 3 because that's a 4. That's 4, that's 3. That's 4's placing a 4 in here. Placing a 3 in there. I can't imagine that's a 3 with 1, 2 pair, but theoretically possible. So this is not, this could be 3, it's not 4, it's not 5. Can it be 6? 1, 5 is fine, 2, 4 is fine. Yeah, it's not 7, 8 or 9. And then up here, well, 6 is at the top. This is 7, 8 or 9. I need 2 things that sum up to 7, 8 or 9. And no real restrictions on what they are, actually. 4, 5, 3 is not here. That's a 3. This is a 1, 2 pair. There's a second 7, 8 with a 6 to line up. I mean, the 6s do line up in here. But essentially, I have another 7, 8. Then will be another 7, 8 plus a bunch of other things. 1, and I need a 2. Which can go anywhere at the moment. I'm going to just pencil mark the options for the region sum lines, just so that I keep them in mind as I look at what these could be, because that may prove helpful. Maybe one way of, I don't know, do I really want to do this kind of some Sudoku gymnastics? You know, these add up to 60, and therefore these cells add up to 29, minus these 2 cells, they need to add up to a maximum of 17. 29 minus 17 is a 12. So, I mean, I could still have some fairly hefty things in here. But one thing that it tells me is that yeah, especially since the 2 is not here. The 1 is not there. 2 has to be on here. 3 already is. This could be 4, 8, 5, 7, you know, a whole bunch of things. But 2 is definitely on here. If 2 is outside it, we will break the puzzle. Not 3, 6, looking at this, that's not the 6. This is the only place for a 6 now in column 7. So essentially I have a 1, 2 with a 7, 8, 9 here in this side. No need for the pencil marks for the 9s anymore. Have I restricted these at all? Not really. In here, again, not really. Is it time to really think about this region sum line? There's a ton of options. This can't be the right path. Let's have a think about it. So no 1s. So I could definitely have 2 and 5 to add up to 7. Can't have 2 and 6, but I could have 2 and 7. Yeah, there's too many options. Let's just... Can I squeeze these region sum lines? Can I extract any more logic out of them? Sorry, shifter dots. If I can, I'm not seeing it. That's not a 3, that's a 3. Which makes this 4, 5, can't be a 6, so this can't be a 9. That's the 9. We now need 2 cells that add up to 9. Please tell me I haven't broken anything. 1, 8, 2, 7 works. 3, 6 doesn't, and 4, 5 doesn't. So 2, 7 in here. No, the 2s don't line up. This 7, 8, right. And in here we have 4, 5, and 4, 5, and 8. Which means this is not 6, 8. This has to be a 7, This is a 2, 9. And because there is an 8, that has to be a 6. Do I know whether it's 2 or 9? I know there's a 5 in here, which makes this a 9. Makes this a 2. 1, 2, 5. And then, I may as well just fill them in so I don't lose track of it. 4, 5, 8. This has to be the 7. No, I've already done 7. I need 8 and 9 in here. That 7 gives me an 8. I need a 7 in this box, can only be in here, and a 6. This is not 6. This is 3, 8, 9. 3, 8, 9. Yeah, it still is 3, 8, 9. Tough puzzle. Tough puzzle. 7, which makes this a 4. Not 4s, 5, 8 pair. 4 gives me a 5 and a 4. And then this is 1, 2, 8, I'm going to say. Not a 1. That's about it. Getting there. How are we? 42 minutes. Right, so we have essentially another 2 from 1 to 8 and the 9. Fairly sure the 9 can't be on the 2-cell region sum line. That's coming up to a single. So that's the 9. This is 1, 2, 8. I can do 8, 1 with a 9. I could do 1, 2 with a 3. I cannot get to an 8. So 8 is off the table. Ironically, I can do 1, 2. Interesting. 3, 6. Do any of these line up really? I mean, I can see that there's no place for a 5 in row 2 except in here. So that's 5. That's 8. That places 5 in box 1 in only one place. That 8 removes an 8 from here. And essentially we have 1, 2, 4, 7 that's left. And this is not 2 or 7. This is 1 or 4. Because this is 1 or 2, or 1 or 8, the 1 is definitely in here. That can't be the 1. That's a 4. That's not a 4. That's a 4. That's not a 4. This is 2 or 7 now. This is a 2, 7 pair in row 1. That's a 1. Not a 1. Not a 9 either. That's a 2, 7 pair. That's a 1, 8 pair. That's a 9. It gives me 8, 9. I think we're on the home stretch finally. 3, 6, 3, 1, 8, 1. Neither of these are 1. This is a 6. This is a 3. Just Sudoku to finish up. That's 7. That's 9. That's 2. That's 8. This is a known digit, surely. It is not a 6. It is a 2. That's the 6. That 2 bounces back. That's 7. That's 2. That's 7. That's 2. That's a 1. And if I've not made any mistakes, that's the 8 for the finish. Very tough puzzle, gUBBLOR. I'm glad I've solved it. So what I've done is I've actually recorded a slightly easier puzzle than this one. Essentially, I was kind of looking at a 3-star difficulty rated puzzle, feeling a bit under the weather and thinking I'm not sure I'm going to be up for it. But given I have solved it, and I really like the consistency of having shifter dot or equality cage every week, I'll post this on YouTube, and I'll post the other puzzle, which is a fantastic one, on Patreon. Hope that you guys enjoyed the video and the puzzle, tough one, and see you back for the next one. Bye-bye for now.